according to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, around 30 people die from drunk driving every single day. That's one person killed by a drunk driver every 48 minutes. 10,000 lives are lost every single year from drunk driving alone. Drunk driving not only hurts you, but also hurts all the innocent victims around you. It is illegal as well as dangerous. The causes are preventable and the solutions are simple. According to Stanford University, driving under the influence, or drunk driving, refers to operating a motor vehicle while one's blood alcohol content is over the legal limit of 0.08%. Now, I'm willing to bet most of you have probably heard of your blood alcohol content before, but you probably don't know what it really means. When you drink an alcoholic drink, the alcohol goes into your body and is quickly absorbed by your stomach and small intestines and into your bloodstream. Your blood alcohol content is the percent of alcohol in your blood at a given time. If you have a blood alcohol content of 0.1%, that's the equivalent of 1 part alcohol to 1,000 parts blood. So it doesn't take much alcohol to intoxicate a person. Driving with a blood alcohol content of over 0.08% drastically increases your chances of getting into a car accident, which is why it is legal in all 50 states. This graph shows your chances of getting in a crash in comparison to the amount of alcohol in your body. As you can see, at these lower blood alcohol concentrations, your chance of getting in a crash is there, but it's low. Once you start hitting 0.7, 0.8, 0.9%, your chance of getting into an accident increases drastically. If you get caught drunk driving, your penalty will depend on the degree or the severity of it. This chart from the DUIDrivinglaws.org shows the penalties. For a 4th degree offense, it's considered a misdemeanor. You can face up to 90 days in jail and a $1,000 fine. For both 2nd and 3rd degree offenses, it's a gross misdemeanor. You can face up to 1 year in jail and have a $3,000 fine. And for a 1st degree offense, it's considered a felony. You can face up to 7 years in prison and a $14,000 fine. So if drinking and driving is so bad, and there are so many stiff penalties, why is it still a problem? Why do people even still drink and drive at all? Well, drinking impairs your ability to think clearly and make good decisions, which can cause you to make the bad decision to drink and drive, even if you know you shouldn't. People also often don't want to make the responsible decision to not drink and drive, so they try and come up with excuses to try and justify the drinking and driving. This graph from the Traffic Injury Research Foundation shows some of the most popular excuses that people have given for drinking and driving. The top one is that they thought they were okay to drive. The next one is it wasn't very far away, or they thought they could drive carefully. Some people even said that they don't know, that everyone else did it, or that they just didn't think about it. Another study I found on lifesaver.com showed that 40% of people would let their friends drink and drive simply because they have done it before. And 20% of men and 7% of women said they would let their friends drink and drive just to avoid an argument. Now, I don't know about you, but I'd rather get in an argument with my friends than let them drink and drive and risk their lives. When driving a vehicle, clear thinking, reasoning, and coordination skills are key. Alcohol affects the brain and nervous system in such a way that all of these functions are impaired. Because of this, no excuse is good enough to justify drinking and driving, especially when the consequences could be so severe. Drunk driving incidents are 100% preventable. Theoretically, drunk driving should be an easy problem to solve if we just stop making excuses and start taking a few easy steps to avoid it. If you know you'll be going out drinking, follow a few simple steps to avoid drinking and driving later on when you're going home. Make plans for how you'll be getting home before you go out, whether it be calling for a friend or calling for a taxi. Know what your plan is going to be before you start drinking. Once you know how you'll be getting home, hide your car keys so you won't be tempted to drive at all. Finally, always eat before you drink. Never drink on an empty stomach, because it causes the alcohol to be absorbed much faster, causing you to get intoxicated very quickly. Once you do all these things, keep in mind what your body can handle, and remember to pace yourself. A good rule of thumb is to have 1 non-alcoholic drink in between each of the drinks with alcohol in them. Also, you should always stop drinking 90 minutes before you plan to leave. You still won't be okay to drive, but you want to make sure you know what's going on when you hop in a taxi or call for a friend. And if you forgot to plan for a ride home before you started drinking, calling for a ride is always an option, especially in today's day and age with so many rideshare apps and the ability to call a taxi or a friend at your fingertips. In fact, driving with any amount of alcohol in your system is dangerous. In 2017, 2,000 people were killed by drunk drivers who had a blood alcohol content of under 0.07%. That's under the legal limit. Ignition interlock devices can also help solve the problem of drunk driving. The ignition interlock device is a breathalyzer that is built into your car. You have to breathe in it before you start your car, and your car won't start if it detects any alcohol in your system. These devices are usually only used in people's vehicles who have had previous DWIs or DUIs. But if we start requiring them in all vehicles, we could possibly stop drunk driving before it even happens and make it impossible. As you can see, drinking and driving is a major problem that is caused by people making irresponsible decisions without thinking about the possible deadly effects. If everyone simply took the time to plan ahead, drunk driving could be a problem of the past.